This podcast is sponsored by nobody.
Hey dudes, this is Marsha Dietlein, Lucy in Return of the Living Dead 2, and you're listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past. They're great to listen to while driving.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be welcoming back the gorgeous, the talented, the funny, the queen of personality herself, Marsha Dietlein Bennett. You all know her as Lucy in Return of the Living Dead 2. And I'm having her back on today. We are going to nerd out on the entertainment of our youth, talking about film, television, and music that we grew up on. And I'm looking forward to it. I love talking to Marsha. She's so funny and articulate and has a great sense of humor. And she is just an absolute gem. And I've been seeing her post pictures of a movie role that she did where she played a nun. I want to see if it's going to be coming out soon. That'd be interesting if she can talk about that. And I love having her on. It's going to be another great talk today. Also, happy birthday to the hilarious Kathy Ladman, who's been on the podcast. And she's been on WTF with Mark Maron in like the last year or so. And I'm so proud of her that she got to be on there and stuff. I love you, Kathy. So yeah, here is my new interview with Marsha Dietlein. So, going back in time, do you remember the first movie that impacted you as a child?
I would say probably Jaws.
Nice. Nice.
Because it terrified me.
A couple people, from your generation have told me that Jaws was their first. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really scary, and I remember even to this day I don't like sleeping with like my foot hanging over the side of the bed or my knee hanging over the side of the bed because I always thought Jaws was gonna come up and bite it off. Jaws was my monster under the bed.
Oh God. Yeah. Back to the Future for me was the first.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was the first one that impacted for me because I always had that fantasy of going back in time and finding out why my parents are so fucked up and why I'm so fucked up.
I know, what a luxury that would be, right?
Yeah, I think that's why that movie has such appeal, why people like it so much, because a lot of people would like to go back in time and see their parents in high school.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be fun.
What genre did you gravitate toward when you were growing up?
I really was probably much more of like a Disney kid, like Wonderful World of Disney, which was on every Sunday, all those like Kurt Russell movies.
Yeah.
I loved those. And definitely like, what was it? The computer who wore tennis shoes and the fastest man in the world. I don't know that one that had like that athlete guy who was so cute. What was his name? Like Jan something. But I love those, like Herbie and the Love Bug. I mean, my favorite movie then and even now probably is The Sound of Music.
Yes.
And The Wizard of Oz too, because they used to be on like once a year, right? Sound of Music was always on at Christmas time for some reason. And The Wizard of Oz too. So it was like those yearly events that you would be so excited that it was going to be on TV again.
Yeah, by the time the Wonderful World of Disney was on in my generation, home video was more popular, and so every time it was on, it was always changing networks, and it wouldn't last.
No, that's too bad. It really was kind of wonderful.
It sure was. And it's Jan Michael Vincent you're thinking of.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah, he was very handsome.
The greatest athlete. Was it the greatest athlete in the world or something like that?
The world's greatest athlete.
That's it. Yeah, I loved that movie. He was so cute.
Yeah, he sure was. Yeah, I mean, comedy and horror for me was a big one. I mean, my parents showed me The Shining when I was a year old. They didn't like
Oh my
horror.
god.
They didn't like horror, but they loved Jack Nicholson, so they let me watch it. It fucked me up, and I went back and revisited it.
Understandably.
Yeah, and I went back and revisited it when I was 7, and it became my go-to movie every Halloween season.
So I saw The Shining. I think I was a little older. I saw it when I was like 15, I want to say, maybe.
Yeah.
And it's the first R-rated movie that my mom let me go to.
Wow.
I mean, I worked in the movie theater, so I saw all the movies there that she didn't know. But
Yeah.
so my mom and I went together, and it was so terrifying. And when the lady is getting out of the bathtub, and my mom would close her eyes and be like, "Tell me what's going on, Marsha. Tell me what's going on." And I'm like, "I don't want to see what's going on. I'm too scared."
Yeah, it's still a powerful, effective movie, you know.
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible, and the performances in it. Like I was reading a lot of articles on it when Shelley Duvall just passed away.
Yeah.
And gosh, she just went through torture on that movie.
Yeah.
Emotional torture, to have to be in that state all day, every day.
Yeah, I remember she scared me for a little while when I was a kid, just by how skinny she was and how eccentric she was. And then as I grew older, I started appreciating how talented she was. And I was a big fan of Fairy Tale Theater that she hosted. And
yes, I loved that Fairy Tale Theater.
Yeah. Oh my God, I watch those shows now. I can't believe a lot of the risque innuendos they got away with on there.
It's true. I mean, I haven't watched them since I was young, but I have to go back and check that out.
Did you let your kids watch them?
I don't think they ever did watch them. I would let them, but I don't think they ever did. Maybe a little bit. I don't think so, though. They were more into like the cartoons, like Rugrats and
Yeah.
They were into all that like Nickelodeon stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
It was all Nickelodeon.
What other Disney stuff did you like?
Oh my gosh. Well, I loved the cartoons too, like Fantasia. I really loved the Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, all that stuff. I still love Disney. I mean, I love pretty much everything Disney. It's just Disneyland is my happy place. I love it there. I've been there so many times. I miss it when I've been there.
I went there twice as a kid, and I remember crying because we couldn't find Pinocchio. He was my guy. I loved Pinocchio.
Oh, did they have the Pinocchio ride? They probably did, right?
Yeah, they did.
You just wanted to find the character.
Yeah, because we're taking pictures with like Mickey Mouse and the Seven Dwarves and all that. Yeah.
Oh, no Pinocchio. My daughter was in love with Belle, right? That's her favorite princess from Beauty and the Beast. And when she was 5, I remember we visited California. And even though I lived in New York, I used to get the year-round pass to Disneyland, which was like $99 a year. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And so when I would go out there for like a month, I'd take her to Disneyland like once a week, And so we went there, and she'd been sick all week, and they changed it where the princesses weren't really out in the park anymore, because it used to be like they would come out for 15 minutes every hour or whatever, 45 minutes, and then have an hour off or something like that to sign autographs. But they moved all the princesses into like a thing where you had to wait in line for like 2 hours to go see the princesses. And
wow.
I was like, Jaya, I don't think we can wait. And she was like, that's okay. I'll see her another time. And the guy working there said, can you just give me a minute? And he went away, and then he came back, and he's like, come back at 3:00, and she's going to have her own personal audience with Belle and Minnie Mouse. And I was like, oh my gosh. It was so great. So we ran and got her an autograph book, and I bought an instant camera, and because I didn't have like cell phone cameras back then. And she got to like hang out with Belle and Minnie for like 15 minutes. It was really, really special for her.
Oh, I'm so upset that they got rid of Splash Mountain. I mean, yeah, because of the racism of Song of the South. But you know what? That's a fun ride. I mean, you can go down that thing and get wet. It's so awesome.
I love Splash Mountain. They could just change the theme of it. They do that a lot
I
with other
know. I
rides.
don't know why they don't do that. I don't know. Did you like Pete's Dragon?
Oh, I loved Pete's Dragon.
Yeah,
Of
me
course.
too. That was the
Love that.
first Disney movie I ever fell in love with. And my
Yeah.
my brother, who's 9 years older than me, he had the soundtrack on vinyl, and it skipped because it was played so much, just over and over again. It would skip, and I just loved that movie. I watched it so much when I was a kid that it drove my parents crazy.
That's a great movie, though.
It is. It is. I won't see the remake though. I won't.
I haven't seen it either, but I hear it's pretty good. I'm sure. But
Uh,
yeah, I don't blame you.
where did you?
Sometimes it's like,
Mhm.
why do you remake a movie that's perfect?
I don't know. Money, familiarity. That's how they do things in Hollywood.
Yeah, and I guess the technology changes, but I think that kind of often ruins it in a way.
It does. It really does. What kind of comedy movies did you like growing up?
Oh gosh. Well, I love like I said, Herbie and the Love Bug.
Hmm.
Um, movies wise, like I loved the TV shows like The Brady Bunch and Get
Yeah.
Smart. And my dad was obsessed with Benny Hill.
Me too.
But, yeah, I'm sure you were. um, what else did I watch? I loved the Monty Python movies.
Yep.
Um, and I don't know. I don't remember like a lot of.
Mel Brooks.
Oh, oh my gosh, yes, Mel Brooks. He was huge in my house.
Mhm.
Blazing Saddles,
Yeah.
um,
Young
High
Frankenstein.
Anxiety. Yes, Young Frankenstein, High Anxiety. That was probably our favorite. We watched that so many times.
Silent movie.
Yeah, yes, they were genius. They were.
Yeah. Neil
I
Simon.
yeah, Goodbye Girl. Remember the Goodbye Girl was such
Goodbye
a good movie.
Girl. The Sunshine Boys. I
Plaza
love.
Suite. Oh, Sunshine Boys is so good. Plaza Suite.
Biloxi Blues.
I don't think I ever saw the movie of Biloxi Blues.
Yeah, but
That's a
yeah,
little later though. Yeah.
yeah. Matthew Broderick, because
Oh yeah.
he did a
He
little
did
bit
the
on
play too.
he did a little bit on stage. He did Brighton Beach Memoirs more, but he did on stage a little bit, and some of the people from the Broadway version was in the movie as well.
Was Billy Ragsdale in that? 'Cause I think Billy
No,
did those plays.
he did the
Yeah, yeah.
play. He did the play, but not the movie.
That's what I thought. Yeah, yeah. Billy and my friend Andy, I think, were in the national, maybe the play on Broadway together. Yeah, Billy was kind of always like the poor man's Matthew Broderick back then, right? But I
That's
know Billy.
great.
He's a doll. I love him.
Yeah. I love the early Woody Allen movies.
Well, I had a thing against Woody Allen because not because he molested his children's daughter, but
Yeah.
that wasn't out yet. No, because Star Wars was, I was 10, I think, when Star Wars came out,
Right.
10 or 11, and it blew my mind, right?
Hmm.
Like blew my mind. It's still one of the most incredible movie experiences I've ever had in a theater, and just with the whole audience screaming at once and stuff. And I remember it was nominated for Best Picture, but I think Annie Hall won. So I was like,
Yeah.
what is this movie? Who is this Woody Allen person? Star Wars is a much better movie. Why is this winning the awards and Star Wars isn't? So so I had like a thing against Woody Allen until I got a little older, and then, of course I love his movies now, but he's he's a genius too.
Annie Hall for me is the best romantic
Uh,
comedy ever made.
I 100% agree.
I could
Yeah.
watch it over and over again. I know what's coming, what quote. I just love that movie. And the funny thing is, it wasn't supposed to be the way we know it. It was a much darker kind of movie, and then he did some tricky editing that ended up becoming genius.
And Diane Keaton is such a brilliant, brilliant comedian and
Yeah,
actress too.
Shelley
I
Duvall's
didn't
in
know that
that.
about her.
Yeah, Shelley
What?
Duvall.
Yeah. Oh, she is. That's right.
Yeah, she's the
Yes.
journalist for Rolling Stone magazine, and after during their pillow talk after sex, she says, "Sex with you is a very Kafka-esque experience."
That's perfect.
Yeah.
No, I love that movie. I love that. Also love Hannah and her sisters.
Yes, that's a good one. A Zelig, because I am a Zelig myself. I've had all these amazing moments in
Yes.
showbiz.
Yes.
Yeah, Sleeper. Oh my God, that's a funny movie.
Believer. So funny. And I actually love Purple Rose of Cairo too.
Yes, Jeff Daniels is great in that.
He's so great in it. And Mia Farrow just was so amazing in all those movies. She
Yes.
really was like no one else, and she and Diane Keaton, and even and Diane Wiest too. I mean,
Oh yeah,
God, three brilliant actresses.
very brilliant. Did you have any movie crushes?
Well, of course. Um, well, my biggest movie crush from the time I was like probably 10 was Paul Newman.
Ah,
I was madly in love with Paul Newman. I had my first like kind of sexy dream about Paul Newman when I was maybe 12 or 13, and he was everything for me. And he was much older then in the 80s, but still I would watch all his old movies, and oh my goodness. I don't think there's ever been a more beautiful man on screen.
yeah. My friend's mom, she was a journalist, and she had an affair with Paul Newman that was semi-public back in the day.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I
Yeah.
did get to meet him. I got to meet him and Joanne Woodward. They came to a play that I was in, and that was like such a big deal for me. This was probably like maybe 20, 25 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe 30. But they were so lovely, and I just couldn't. And it was really snowy, so we took each other's arms as we were like walking down the steps outside because it was kind
Mhm.
of icy, and I like couldn't believe it was Paul.
Yeah, God, he was great. Yeah, I had crushes on like Natalie Wood and like
Oh yeah.
every '80s movie actress that I've interviewed and become friends with. Um, Cary Grant was a big one for me. My mom had a paperback book and had all these beautiful black and white pictures of him.
Oh yeah, he was so handsome. He just was like suave and cool and super handsome.
Yeah. Do you remember your
Yeah.
Do you remember your first drive-in experience?
Actually, it's funny. So where I'm from Ohio, and where I lived at
Right.
that time in Sydney, Ohio, we had a drive-in sort of. There was like our housing development, and then there
Hmm.
was like a big field, and then there was a drive-in. So I do remember I remember going to the drive-in. My mom would like, pop a big paper bag of popcorn, and I'm one of six children. So
Hmm.
at that point, maybe my older sister might have been out of the house. So it was like three of us, four of us, all fighting to sit in the passenger seat in the
Yeah.
front row. Be like, I get the passenger seat in the front, and whoever called it first would get it, and then we'd all fight over it, and then we go. And I remember seeing, for some reason, I remember seeing the movie Bullet. Do you
Yes.
know? Remember that
Steve
movie?
McQueen.
Steve McQueen, and it had like a naked butt in it or something, and it was like the first male naked butt I'd ever seen. So I do remember that. And then I also remember one night my older sister, was babysitting us, and she freaked out and came running into our bedrooms, and she was like, "It's tornado warnings, Marsha! Everyone get into the bathrooms." We didn't have a basement, and we were like, "What?" And she's like, "I just heard these sirens going off and saying tornado warnings over and over again." And it turned out it was from the drive-in, and it was some submarine movie, and it was saying torpedo warnings, torpedo warnings. And we were hearing that all the way at our house. So those are my drive-in experiences. I have some high school ones too, which are, more fun.
Oh yeah, any good stories there?
I haven't been. Well, when I was in high school, I worked for a small movie theater chain called Checkers Theaters,
Yes.
and they had screens around. Yeah, and I do remember they had a drive-in in my town, Springfield, which is where I'm from, which is in the news very sadly these days for stupid lies that people are spouting. But
Yeah.
anyway, it's awful. It's been terrible in my hometown. Like death groups are marching in front of the mayor's. Proud Boys were in front of the mayor's house. It's just
Yeah.
like, come on, well, it's awful, and it's just none of that shit is true. This shit about the Haitians is none of it's true. Anyway, the Melody Drive-In Theater was there, and I would go, of course, and make out with boys in the car, but those old speakers, remember those old speakers that would be on the windows?
Yeah, by
And
the time our drive-in was wrapping up its run, they had this thing where you can just type in this code on your car radio and listen to the movie on your car radio.
yeah, that's what I've heard. But doesn't that kill your battery? Because everyone's have to keep their car running the whole time.
Well, my dad was doing the drive-in. I don't recall that happening, but it didn't work as good or bad, as the speakers did.
The speakers were terrible.
Yeah, they were so old. They'd been around forever.
I know they were. You never could hear the movie. It's like the weirdest thing. And then if you were sitting out like in a truck outside or something, like in the back of a pickup truck, you couldn't hear anything. It's like watching the movie. They needed subtitles or something.
Yeah.
But now they do something else. Like they do some. It must come through your cell phone or something. I'm not sure how it.
Probably.
Drive-ins are different now.
I haven't been to one in almost 24 years, but yeah, I mean, my dad went in the 70s as a teenager, and he had to go see a movie 3 times because the first 2 times he had a date and they were making out or getting laid or
Exactly.
whatever, and then the third time he'd actually watch the movie and he'd go, God, this is a masterpiece. It's going to be an immortal classic someday. he did that with he did that with Rocky and Animal House and the Groove Tube and stuff like that.
He's pretty right about those, right?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, those were exciting for you to go to the drive-in.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun family outing for sure.
My parents started taking me when I was 2. They took me to see Weird Science and Rambo 2, and
Oh, there you go.
yeah, and then like they stopped taking me after a while when I was about 3.5 because I was always falling asleep in the car or getting out of the car and knocking on windshields.
That's funny.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, what's going on? What's going on in there?
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
really cute. I would think you would just fall asleep if you were that young, And it was always like a double feature, at least, right? Sometimes a triple feature.
It was mostly double, I remember.
Yeah, that's what I remember too. Bullet, I think, was not the movie we went to see. I think it was the double feature movie, the second movie.
Yeah. Getting into television, like what sitcoms did you watch growing up?
Well, the Brady Bunch was awesome. It was
Yeah.
already in. It was already in syndication, really, when I would watch it, but it was always on like after school.
Mhm.
And I grew up Marsha Bradley, so that's very close to Marsha Brady.
Yeah.
And I thought she was pretty fantastic. I did watch Partridge Family too, but more the Brady Bunch. I could probably tell you like almost every Brady Bunch episode.
Me too. Me too.
Right? In fact,
Yeah.
my siblings and I used to play this game. Who could guess which episode it was by just the beginning of the episode?
Mhm.
Be like, you'd hear one line or see one shot, and you go, "Oh, it's the broken vase one," or it's the
Yeah. The one where Peter has a crush on Jan's new friend, and
Yes.
yet she has a crush on Greg. That episode kills me. That episode kills me. Yeah. What's her name? Kim Carath from The Sound of Music is the girl.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she's one of the Von Tropps.
Oh, yeah, there you go. See?
Yeah.
I loved that. I loved Happy Days. I had a big Scott Baio crush. I had pictures of him all over. It wasn't a sitcom, but I loved the Hardy Boys and the Nancy Drew.
Oh, yeah.
I loved Sean Cassidy. I was big into Sean Cassidy. Sitcoms, other sitcoms. I mean, I would watch the new Mickey Mouse Club like every day after school, too. And what else? I love my parents wouldn't let me watch Three's Company because it was a man living with two women, even though he was, pretending to be gay.
Oh,
They wouldn't let me watch.
We watched that a lot in my house growing up.
See, your parents were much cooler than mine. I can tell already. I mean, The Shining at 2 years old. Too Close for Comfort.
We watched
Different
that.
Different Strokes. The Jeffersons. Sanford and Son. I mean, my dad loved All in the Family. I didn't really get it. I thought it was funny, but I didn't. Now I just think it's a masterpiece.
Me too.
It's so amazing. But my mom, I always said she reminded me of Edith Bunker. She didn't think it was a compliment.
Archie.
So my mom was very Edith Bunker.
Archie.
They kind of looked alike, yeah. Archie. Oh, Archie, no. Yeah, those are pretty much. And then I was obsessed with the Bionic Woman, $6 Million Man, and Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels.
For sure.
Oh my God! Every actress I've ever talked to who guest starred on Charlie's Angels told me they loved that show until they guest starred on it because those girls were so nasty to the guest stars. I'll tell you.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Well, I was too young to guest star on it at that time, but I used to play Charlie's Angels on my skateboard with my little cap gun. I was, of course, Farrah Fawcett with my hair. I have big hair. So I was Jill Monroe, and my other friends were the other two, and my friend Allison had to be Bosley because we didn't meet her till middle school. So there were any angels left. She had to be Bosley.
I used to watch I Dream of Jeannie, and
oh yes,
there was that controversy over Barbara Eden's belly button. That I found out that the reason why that happened is because the NBC censors thought the belly button was an enticement for the breast and vagina, and so 2 years later, Gene Roddenberry broke that rule. He had Barbara Luna and Nichelle Nichols show theirs on Star Trek, and a few years after that, Mariette Hartley did a pilot with Gene Roddenberry called Genesis 2, and she played a space woman with two belly buttons. Yeah, and they're so uncanny you can't tell which one's the real one.
Yeah, Mariette Hartley, my husband, edited a movie that she was in. She's amazing. I love her. She's so funny. She's like one of the funniest people ever.
Yeah.
But I Dream of Jeannie, I have my younger sister, Beth. We look like almost identical, except I was blonde and she has like really dark hair. Mm-hmm. So we would always play I Dream of Jeannie, and of course I got to be the nice one.
Yeah.
And she had to be the evil sister.
I love it. Did you watch Bewitched?
Oh, of course. I loved Bewitched.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved Bewitched. I watched that probably well into adulthood, actually, because it was always on, what was that channel?
Nick at Night?
At night. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's where I discovered...
I loved
MASH. Yeah, Nick at Night is where I discovered, everything from the Monkees to Mork and Mindy, Mary Tyler Moore Show. Yeah.
I watched all of those, for sure. I watched all of those. They were all so good. And, it just shows how much TV we watched growing up, Tommy.
Yeah. I know, we're couch potatoes.
Record them.
We're couch potatoes, yeah.
Definitely. Well, I would sit and watch TV while I did my homework and stuff,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I did that as well. And sometimes I would just focus on the TV and not do my homework at all. It was really distracting.
I was somehow able to, maybe because I'm a woman, I multitasked a little better, but I was able to keep it going. Maybe because I would do the homework during the commercial breaks, and then go back or something. And there were, a lot of commercial breaks. So. Oh
yeah. Oh, even more so now.
I know. But yeah, we watched MASH a lot as a family. In fact, my brother became a doctor because of MASH.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, MASH was one of my favorite shows. That was another one where I could remember most of the episodes.
I'm sure. Yeah, you and my brother could go like head to head on that. I'm sure.
Yeah. Did Ohio have a late night horror host?
You know, who was the guy that was Wolfman Jack or whatever,
Well,
right? Wolfman
well, he was more of
he
a
wasn't a horror host
he was a
though.
radio guy.
Yeah, I remember Wolfman Jack. I don't really. I'm sure they might have, but I wasn't really that much into horror movies. I know that's terrible to say, but
No, it's okay.
um, I did love. I mean, I saw the first Friday the 13th, and the first Halloween. I mean, I would go see them because I worked at the movie theater, and I would sneak into the movies. But I don't. we probably did. I mean, Pennsylvania probably had one. I know my friend Dan Roebuk. He pretends to be a guy called Doctor Shocker, but it's
Mm-hmm.
based on like a. He was real, right, Doctor Shocker, or no?
I believe he was. I could be wrong, but yeah, at that time there was in the '60s there was Ernie Anderson. He was Ghoulardi in I think Chicago. I want to say maybe Detroit. Of course, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania had Chili Billy Cardille.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's Dana Ashbrook's in-laws.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. And then, of course, Elvira came in 1980. She replaced
Yes.
a guy out in LA named Sister Seymour.
Yeah, I remember Elvira. Obviously, we all know Elvira.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Did you watch Batman growing up?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I interviewed Burt Ward. Oh my God, that was a strange experience. He's
Was it?
Yeah, because at the time he was 75, and he still sounded like he did when he was 20. And
Amazing.
I just I remember we had a mix up in time, and his publicist had done it before, so he was like yelling out loud, and I'm just trying so hard not to laugh because I'm expecting him to say, "I'm not going to be a pawn in your game, Joker."
Yeah. Exactly. That's funny.
Did you?
That's pretty cool guess though.
Oh yeah, it was cool. It was during the pandemic too. It was a perfect time to get him. Yeah. Did you watch the Monkeys?
I loved the monkeys.
Davy,
Yeah.
he was such a cutie.
Davy was cutie, but Mike was my favorite. I don't know why. I had a Mike thing.
Yeah. You
I
know,
loved him with little hat he always wore.
did you know that his mom invented whiteout?
I did not.
Yes. I heard him tell the story. His mom was like a secretary, and one day she was doing her nails at work, and she was I don't know, she had to copy something, write something, and she was like, God, I wish I could block that out. And then she used her nail polish to block it out. And then I don't know, she had like a background in like science and all that stuff, and so she came up with this formula called whiteout to block out stuff you're writing in the office.
Wow. He probably had a lot of money from that, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
She probably did really well.
She did very well. This was like just before he was born, and so like yeah, I mean he was doing pretty well in his childhood as far as financial.
See, I picked the rich one. I knew it.
Did you watch?
Yeah.
Did you watch the Twilight Zone?
I did, yeah. I watched the Twilight Zone, but I wouldn't say not as regularly as like most people. I would say I've seen probably more Twilight Zones as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I know the one that always freaked me out was the pig one, where they like changed the beautiful lady's face to have like the pig nose because they
Mm-hmm.
think that's what's beautiful. I always was kind of creeped out by that one.
Yeah, Talking Tina.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
the,
But yeah, I didn't watch that as much, I would say.
the little girl who's always hanging around the old man who can like turn into a bat or something.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Yeah, that was the little girl was Susan Gordon, whose father Burt Gordon did a lot of creature feature movies. He directed like The Amazing Colossal Man and Village of the Giants and Food of
That's
the
cool.
Gods. Yeah.
That's cool. There you go. You know everybody.
Oh yes, I've been a historian my whole life.
I think that's wonderful, actually.
Yeah. The Bill Mummy one, of course, where
Hmm.
he's got powers, and you gotta be nice to him.
Yes, yes. Oh, Lost in Space. And can we talk how great that was?
Will Robinson, yes.
Oh, I loved Lost in Space. I wanted to be Judy.
I interviewed her. Was it Marta Kristen?
Yeah.
I interviewed her, and they were filming at 20th Century Fox Television, so they were like on the same lot as Batman and the Green Hornet and the Time Tunnel and stuff. It was a magical time in old Hollywood.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I loved that show.
Yeah, that was Irwin Allen, who of course is the guy who pretty much invented the ensemble disaster flick. I mean
Yeah.
he did Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, The Lost World, The Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno, all these like
Awesome.
ensemble epics. And then Aaron Spelling took that formula and did The Love Boat and Fantasy Island.
Right. There you go. They made happier movies.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's amazing how guys
Or
like
happier TV shows. Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing how guys like Aaron Spelling and then Gary Marshall, Norman Lear, James L. Brooks, all these guys they really changed the way TV was in the 70s as opposed to the 50s and 60s. Because in the 50s, it was all squeaky clean, all American
Yeah.
white families. In the 60s, it was all campy sitcoms with characters and what ifs. And then by the 70s, it becomes social commentary.
Right. Right. Yeah. Especially like All in the Family, right?
Yeah.
Sanford and Sons. Um, yeah.
Are you a
No,
bit?
you're right. It's true.
Are you a big Saturday Night Live fan?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I don't watch it now that much, but I definitely watched it. I would say in the 80s.
Yeah.
Definitely in the 80s. The whole like Bill Murray, John Belushi, Chevy Chase,
Yeah.
all those people, right?
The best cast in my opinion.
I agree.
And I heard that
I
movie
agree.
that just came out's really good.
About what
About
came out.
about when they were filming the pilot episode.
Oh, yeah, I would like to see that.
Yeah, it's called
I would
Saturday
like to see
Night.
that.
I heard it's good.
Yeah, what an amazing cast that was. Gilda Radner and
Oh, she was the best. The absolute
yeah,
best. I was so sad when
yeah.
she died because I remember at the time she died I hadn't seen Saturday Night Live when she was on yet, but I saw the Gene Wilder movies and I thought they were so good together.
I know. I think so too. Can you imagine how much fun they must have had together?
Yeah,
They were both such funny people,
it shows.
whimsical people.
Yeah, it shows on screen.
Yeah, it does. It
Uh,
does. I still
mm,
think of her when I like that. Sometimes I'll just go, Barbara Wawa, Barbara Wawa,
Baba Wawa. Yeah.
Barbara Wawa.
Did you like?
And then it was
Mhm.
amazing when Eddie Murphy was on it too.
Oh yeah, him and Piscopo and Julia Louis
Yeah,
Dreyfus.
that was a good group too.
Yeah, at the time, so many people didn't like it because they were in such a habit with the original cast for 5 years. But like when you look at it in hindsight, they were just as groundbreaking, if not more.
Yeah, they were, I think too. I agree with you. I
Did you,
did get a big kick out. I saw I don't know if it was the cold open, but I saw the Family Feud sketch from this past week. Did you see that with the
no, I haven't
with
watched it in
the
5 years, not since Eddie Murphy hosted.
Oh, well, do yourself a favor. Just Google Family Feud with Kamala and Trump, and it's so funny. And it was so great to see Dana Carvey do Biden. It's brilliant. I'm like, Dana Carvey, I think, is one of the best people that was ever on that show
The
with
best.
his impression.
Yes.
Yeah,
I listened to his podcast that he has with David Spade, and
they're so funny.
yeah, I love it. They've been having Saturday Night Live people on. the last few years, but every so often now they stray from it and have people who have never even been on the show, but they're celebrities and they like the show. It's a really good show, I think.
Yeah, no, I enjoy that. I listen to that. I listen to Smart List, which I love too.
Did you like
Do you listen to that?
Did you like children's educational programming like Schoolhouse Rock and Zoom,
Oh yeah, the Electric Company,
Electric Company, The Magic Garden?
the Magic Garden. What was that lady's name on the?
There was Carol Demas and Janice Paul.
I just remember like what was the show with the magic mirror at the end? Was that Captain Kangaroo?
Oh, that was Romper Room.
Romper Room, and they would like say your name if it was your birthday or something. They'd say, "I see so and so."
I see
would
Jimmy.
Like, say Marsha.
I see
Say
Jimmy.
Marsha. Yeah. I love those shows and Captain Kangaroo.
Well,
and like Hanna-Barbera, right? The banana splits and.
Oh yeah, that's Sid and Marty Krofft. That was the first thing that they did. It wasn't their show, but their puppeteers were on it, and that led to H.R. Puffin stuff and Land of the Lost and stuff. Yeah, I got to interview Sid Krofft last year, and it was snowing in California. We had a shitload of technical difficulties.
Oh no! Oh yeah, you guys were having that crazy snow. That must have been pretty. He must be up there in age, I'm guessing.
I believe he just turned 95.
Incredible. I loved all that stuff.
He's still sharp as a tack and all of that.
That's wonderful.
Now getting into music, do you remember the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Yeah, so I was raised Mormon, and I bought the Osmonds' Crazy Horses album. I think that's what it was called. Do you remember that album?
Which
the
one?
Osmonds.
Oh yeah.
The Osmonds.
Yeah, the
Crazy
Osmonds.
Horses. Crazy horses are.
Yeah. I wasn't a huge Osmonds fan, but yeah, I do know the hits like One Bad Apple and stuff.
One Bad Apple, exactly. Yeah, I had a big thing for Donny Osmond, and that, and then I think the next one was probably a Jackson 5 album.
Yeah.
Probably the ABC album, whatever ABC was on.
I Want You Back and all that.
All that good stuff. They were like my favorites. I don't know. I must have had a thing for like family groups.
Yeah.
And I remember my like lunchbox that I got in 3rd grade. I had to like do the dishes, maybe 2nd grade, and it was an Osmond lunchbox. It was like purple with their faces on it and stuff. And
yeah,
I finally saved up enough money. Like my parents paid me like a quarter every time I washed the dishes. So finally saved up my $3.25 or whatever to go buy my Osmond lunchbox. And then years later, of course, I didn't still have it, but Dan Roebuk, my buddy, has Dan been on this show?
No, I'd love to have him.
Oh, you should. I could put you guys in touch with each other.
That'd be great.
Yeah, he found one at like a toy convention and bought it for me for Christmas. So I have that same lunchbox now.
Yeah.
Which I still love.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, my parents had vinyl records. We had everything from the Stones to Carole King's Tapestry, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, Rod Stewart albums. There's nothing like that stinky, musky smell of vinyl. It's intoxicating.
I know. And that sound of the needle playing on the record.
Yeah, that buzzing noise.
That little, yeah, I love that. We always, the Nat King Cole Christmas album was like on repeat in my house all the time. That was my dad's favorite. And of course I really loved Styx. Styx was like my middle school, high school band. I love
Styx. Oh my God, they're so good. I saw them live back in 2015. We went to go see Def Leppard headline with Styx and Tesla opening, and it was a great show. The only Dusty Young hasn't been in the band for years. The only song of his that they did was Babe, but other than that, it was a great. Oh no, not Babe, but Lady. Lady was the Dusty Young song.
Yeah, they don't do Babe. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great show.
I got to see them. Yeah, I went and saw them last year for my birthday. my husband got tickets, and it was up at Bethel Woods, which is where Woodstock happened. They have a big outdoor concert venue up there.
Yeah.
It was like a dream come true. That's all I can say. It was incredible. And that guy they got to replace Dennis DeYoung sounds exactly like him. He was incredible. And Tommy Shaw is still as hot and awesome as ever. And sings like a dream still. It's incredible how these guys and they rock out. It was so good.
One of my guilty pleasures, and this is the first time I am revealing this on the podcast, is turning on Mr. Roboto and just shuffling my toes to it.
I cook to it. I'll put on Styx while I'm making dinner or something. And I dance to Mr. Roboto every time.
So was that your?
When I was at the oh, go ahead.
Oh, did you see Styx as a first concert?
No. My first concert. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. My first concert was in Utah. I was out there for the summer, staying with my older sister, and at Snowbird Ski Resort, Air Supply was playing.
Oh God, that is embarrassing.
Isn't that was my first concert? Yeah, I went with my first love, Wade Whiting, and
Wade Whiting, his name was?
Air Supply. Wade Whiting was my first love. We're friends on Facebook still. I'm friends with him.
Wade Whiting.
Wow. Isn't that a great name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was like 14, maybe 15. That was my first concert. I know that's really sad. But it was pretty.
I can imagine, yeah. I saw the Monkees at Candlestick Park when I was 14. They drove off the field. They drove off the field in a Cadillac with the top down, and I saw Steppenwolf at the county fair. John Kay was the only original member. I loved it because he was so charismatic and funny. But all the 40 and 50-year-olds there were like, the magic is gone.
Yeah.
I saw Alice Cooper in a big place, and God, he is a showman. That guy.
He comes, like, my son has seen him in Ohio. My brother-in-law is like an Alice Cooper fanatic, and he plays in Ohio like every summer. And Jared goes every year, and he actually my sister got him a cameo from Alice Cooper for his birthday last year.
Oh God!
Really funny.
He and I could go back and forth talking about Alice.
Oh yeah, he loved Alice. Alice Cooper's really cool, I think.
Yes, the best. He just gets better with age, I think.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first makeout song?
Oh my goodness, probably "Endless Love."
Oh, nice.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah, mine was Janet Jackson's "Love Will Never Do Without You."
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and also I will say there's a song like with Wade Whiting. There's a song on the Styx Cornerstone album called "First Love."
Oh yeah.
And that was our song.
Oh.
That was a big makeout song for us.
Oh my God, I'm so glad that we found this commonality of loving Styx. I really do.
I love Styx.
I
love them.
Me
too. I was like, he's going to say I have the worst taste in music.
Oh no, I give you a pass with Styx, but Air Supply, come on.
Oh no, that was really bad. But Wade got those tickets, not me.
Here's a fun question. Do you remember how old you were when you first discovered your belly button?
I don't, but I remember my daughter discovering hers when she was maybe like 2, Yeah. And she was like, oh, what's, I'm like, that's your belly button. That was like one of the body parts she could name young.
Yeah.
Like most kids say hand, foot, she'd say belly button.
Yeah.
And boobie.
Yeah. I probably did as a baby too, but I remember being 6 and contemplating it for the first time because I had a girlfriend who had this adorable Audi belly button, and we just liked to compare ours and stuff and play with them and so forth.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
So, do you have any upcoming projects you could mention?
Yeah, I think this Christmas, coming hopefully to a theater near people, um, Dan Roebuk and I have paired up to do a Christmas movie called Saint Nick
Mm,
of Bethlehem,
nice.
and it's I think he's got a distributor interested, so we're really hoping to get it out this Christmas, and I think it's going to be really wonderful. Kathy Moriarty's in it.
Oh, nice. I love
She's
her.
I love her. I love that woman. She's in it, and then it's the usual suspects of Dan, me, and Dwayne Whitaker, and our friend Tim Goodwin, and it's just a really beautiful, true story about a guy who he's from Central Pennsylvania. This man, Alan Smith,
Mm-hmm.
and he lost his adult son to a bee sting.
Oh,
Um, and he was so devastated that the way he got through it was he sort of became Santa for this little town that he's from. And he ended up reconnecting with his high school sweetheart, and that's who I play in it. And they're now married, and they're like Santa and Mrs. Claus every year for the town. They go around and give presents to all the needy kids and just any kids, really. He drives around in a red pickup truck full of gifts, and
mm-hmm.
it kind of changed his life. So I think it's going to be a really lovely movie.
Yeah. I see you post the pictures of you as a nun in a movie. Is that coming out?
Yes, I hope so. I know everyone laughs that I played him then. I had to force Dan to cast me as the nun actually too,
Yeah.
but hopefully that is coming out next year. It's finished. He's really Dan is he says it's like the best thing that he's done as a director and writer, and just the whole movie. It's a very special movie, and so he's really trying to wait to get like proper distribution for it before he doesn't want to self-distribute it like he has done some other projects.
Yeah.
So he has people looking at it, and hopefully that will be out next year. It's called The Hail Mary, and I haven't seen it yet. He keeps wanting to show it to me, but I kind of like to watch a movie for the first time in a theater with people. I don't know. I like that better. I feel like you get the whole experience of what it needs to be when you're sitting in an audience and it's
Yeah.
on the big screen. So I've been like a holdout. I'm like, I don't want to see it yet. So, but anyway, yes, hopefully that will be out. So Saint Nick of Bethlehem and the Hail Mary.
I have never known an actress who played a nun and was innocent ever.
Well, duh. It's called acting for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, Beatrice Bopley, who's Amanda Kruger in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, she is far from innocent, I'll tell you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dan had a hard time with it because he knows me personally so well.
Yeah.
And, but I was able to audition and talk him into it. So not talk him into it. He cast me, but I forced him to let me audition.
Yeah. Any conventions coming up?
No, I'm so like frustrated. I'm like, get me out there, guys. I haven't done one since a couple of years ago, and I'm missing them. I really enjoy them.
Yeah. I I only go to like one con a year now because they're just so expensive. I used to go to like four a year back in the day.
Yeah, no, they are expensive. I know, especially if you want like the Robert Englands or those kinds of autographs.
Yeah,
Um,
it's insane.
it is insane. I wish that I had played like a monster in something because they get like the good convention people. It's like Alan, what's his name? Troutman? No,
Oh,
Alan.
Alan Troutman,
Yeah, Alan Troutman.
Return of the Living
Who's
Dead.
yes, and he's in mine. He's in part 2 as well.
Right.
But he's like, yeah, I worked 2 days on these movies. It's amazing, and he's like a puppeteer.
Yeah, I've talked to him.
He's a very special, sweet person.
He is.
But he's like, I can't believe all this after for 2 days of work in my life.
It's funny. He's so skinny when you meet him in person. It's like
Is.
it's no wonder you're so good at playing like a skeleton zombie. He's got this smile like a skeleton zombie.
He does. He's very tall and very skinny. But yeah, my booth was like right next to him at Scarefest a couple of years ago, and that was so much. It was really nice to meet him and talk with him.
He's a very nice guy. I have a couple.
Yeah.
I have a couple jokes for you.
Okay.
Okay, what kind of meat does a priest eat on Friday?
I don't know.
None.
Oh no. Okay, I'm passing that on to Mr. Roebuk.
Yeah. Here's another one. You know the difference between a dildo and tofu?
No.
They are meat substitutes.
There you go. That works.
Yep.
I like the nun one especially.
Yes. Pass that down on to him, and yeah,
I shall.
let him know about the podcast. I'd love to have him on.
I definitely will. When this is going to be on, let me know and I'll send it to him, and then I'll put you guys in touch with each other. He's a great guy.
Absolutely.
He's super busy right now anyway too, so it'd be better like after Halloween.
Perfect.
He's like convention, and he was just he's in the Terrifier 3 that just opened.
Love it. Marsha, I love you. Thank you for nerding out with me today.
My pleasure. Pleasure. I'm glad. It's kind of nice to be fellow nerds, because then we don't make fun of each other's taste.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because we know we own it.
Exactly.
We own Styx.
You have yourself a great holiday season and be safe out there.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you so much. Great chatting with you again.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Well, there you have it. Marsha Dietlein. Ain't she a sweetheart? I just love having her on. She's so much fun. She is just an absolute gem. And hopefully I can get Dan Roebuk on here. I'd love to have him on. I loved his performance as Jay Leno in The Late Shift. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes!